Welcome to the Registered Investment Advisor Podcast, where financial services marketing expert Seth Greene interviews experts, executives, and top producers to share can't-miss tips on how they successfully manage their financial service firms, grow their businesses, create great relationships, and influence the industry. And now, here's your host, Seth Greene.
Welcome to the RIA Podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Ed Meek of Edge Financial Advisors. Ed, thanks so much for joining us.
Seth, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. One of the first times I've been a guest on another podcast because we've been doing one for a while. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
Yes, well, thank you for letting me flip the mic around and interview you. You've been in the business a long time. How did you get in the first place?
Good question. I got in the business right out of college. I promised my wife I would never take a job with 100% commissions, and then I took a job with 100% commissions. It was with a company called Equitable, which is similar to the Northwestern Mutual Life or New York Life.
Yep, and is now AXA.
Yeah, that's right. They promise you the world, and if you work really, really hard, which I was a hard worker, that I would make a lot of money, and everything happened except for making a lot of money. So that's how I got in the business. I did that for a couple of years, and it parlayed me into a job working at Fidelity Investments in one of their retail branches, which was an incredible opportunity because it was the perfect fit. I didn't have to go and find new clients, and they did incredible training. Fidelity is a great company when it comes to customer service and taking care of their employees and their clients. And so it was a wonderful environment. I did that for 11 years, had a fair amount of success, but was ready to go out on my own so I could practice financial planning much more in depth than I could at Fidelity. Fortunately, Fidelity helped me pay for my CFP when I was there at Fidelity. And then now, over 18 years ago, I started this company that I've been running ever since.
Well, congratulations. I'm sure the longer version is could either be in a book or on your podcast. So how did you design Edge to be different? Because you wanted to practice it more in depth. So talk a little bit about what that means to you.
Yeah, I think what happened was when I was at Fidelity, I mean, that's the only world I knew. I didn't know what being a financial advisor at a wirehouse or anywhere else was like. But what I did know was we had a lot to do, taking care of a lot of clients. And I was kind of like, I would take care of just one thing at a time. And we talked about investments a lot. And while I was a financial planner, that encompasses a lot more than just investments. And so I kind of missed and felt like I couldn't help clients holistically the way I wanted. So that was the primary reason that I went out on my own. Was so I was fortunate enough to take care of some bigger clients. And I knew that when I went on my own, I didn't know for sure, but I felt like some of them might be interested in this platform where I could offer them a lot more by taking care of them. And that's what I did. And fortunately, that's what happened. I mean, it took a little while, right? Starting your own business. Now I wasn't just a financial advisor, financial planner anymore. I was now a business owner and had to take care of every aspect of it. But I think it was just very comprehensive financial planning. And I know everybody says they do financial planning, but my company was set up to do that from day one. And that's what we've done.
Awesome. And you've grown a lot along the way. We'll get into that. Who's an ideal client for you now?
I'd say the ideal client is a business owner who is either independent on their own or they have a small amount of staff. And the reason is we actually have an area that we're like very, very narrow focused on that most advisors don't do. We actually have our own website built around this, but we specialize in something called defined benefit plans. And some people have heard of them. Some people are familiar with them. We're actually experts in it. We have a lot of clients that do them. And so we attract business owners that make a lot of money and they can put a lot of money away in these plans because, as we know, the most you can probably do on your own in a 401k is with the profit sharing and everything is maybe about 70 grand if you're over 50 years old. But in the defined benefit plans, we can sometimes put in an extra 50, 100, 2 or 300,000 pre-tax. And so we like to target and specialize in those kind of business owners. And then that helps them massively. In fact, we just did a live event today, specifically speaking to that, to attract and talk to business owners around that. And the amount of money you save just in taxes per year, if you just invest that, I mean, you could seriously have $500,000, $1 million, $2 million extra someday that you wouldn't have had on your own. So it's very powerful, and it's a good lead to help people.
Absolutely. And I love the niche, and we have had some folks talk about defined benefits before, but those were providers as opposed to the advisors working with the clients. How are you finding the business owners? How are they finding you? How are you getting them to that event? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, that's the trick. It's interesting because when you're doing target marketing, sometimes if you're targeting, like, I don't know, doctors or nurses or, sometimes you can kind of find those a little bit easier. And so we're still working on it. We have a couple different marketing sources, one outside company that actually helps us ghostwrite things and just puts ads out there, and it draws them in. And then we have some own internal marketing that we do. And so we're still trying to figure it out. And we're starting to focus more and more on LinkedIn. That's where we got the people for this one, and our current, just email marketing people we have on a list or whatever. But that's the biggest trick. Is there's a lot of people that fit that. I mean, there's certain businesses that actually have consultants, or a real big one, some type of consultant. I mean, we have a handful of consultants, really big real estate people who are in real estate. They usually get paid 1099, or people who don't need staff, and they're just very, very good at what they do. Sometimes it's even like, I have one that's a professor and makes more money outside of being a professor, because they could charge so much per hour, and they could literally take almost all that money and put it in this plan, because they don't have that available to them at the university they work at. So that's the toughest part. It's actually we have tons of content. We actually have some of the podcasts we've done around it. We've done some specific actual separate videos around it. And so we have lots of good content around it. It's actually somehow getting people to see that it's available, because when we come across it, they just can't believe that this is available. The area we're going to probably focus on next, I think, is accountants, because accountants often will refer them to us, but a lot of accountants aren't even that familiar with it.
Absolutely. It is a micro niche in the financial services market. You've grown a lot over the years. Talk a little bit about the team you've built.
Yeah. Fortunately, I had a decent start with some clients that are larger, and they like what we do. So we've grown. I think a lot of companies have grown through referrals, and so that's been helpful. I think the last few years have been helpful. Just now we're starting to get momentum and get more referrals, and working on marketing more than we have. Just like this one area I mentioned, we've gotten some new clients the last couple of years through the defined benefits. And then few years ago, about 5 years ago, I stopped doing one thing, and I just took a step back and said, what do I want to do? I mean, my company is at a place where I've got enough employees where I could probably be fine the rest of my life. I'm still in my early 50s at the time, and but that didn't sound that appealing to me. I really wanted to grow something, so I made it a big focus to also work on looking into M&A. So we bought a small practice about 2.5 years ago. We're in the midst of a few conversations right now. As you probably know, in the audience, if you played in this field, it's extremely competitive right now, and you got to be the right fit. There's got to be a lot of things that fall into place. But if you look at you roll over enough rocks, then maybe from time to time you might find a good fit. So kind of a combination of all of those things is where we've gotten to where we're at.
Awesome. What inspired you to start the podcast?
The marketing group that helped us redo our website, and then also helped us find the new website for the defined benefit plan. I don't like writing. I wasn't good at writing when I was in college, but I do like talking, and I get very passionate about the stuff that I think we're good at and how we help people. And so I have a partner who's younger. I'm the older guy. I'm not that old. I'm 54, but I have a partner. His name's James. He's 35, and we seem to get along fairly well, and we both are passionate. And so the marketing guy was like, if you guys want to do a podcast, you might be decent at doing one together. And that's kind of how it came about. And so we did audio podcasts, maybe our first 10 to 15 episodes. And then we decided to invest in some equipment a couple of years ago. So we've got 2 cameras. We moved into a new building that I bought just a couple months ago, and we actually made a separate podcast room specifically that was insulated for sound and has all the cameras and everything set up there. So it's not necessarily do podcasts to have all that, but we figured we had the room, we might as well do it. So that's kind of what got us there. And now it's been an incredible thing. I mean, I wouldn't say we have tons and tons of people watching it all the time, but it's great for prospects. It's great for people to check us out. When we're talking to prospects, we're like, here's the deal. Like, you really are interested in this and this. And even though we mentioned it in our meeting with you, why don't you look at podcast number 17 and podcast 22? Because you and I both know, Seth, like, this is another way of people feeling like they know you. Like, in the olden days, it was just a referral. They came in. Now we might be able to use this and it might translate almost in a form of a referral because they feel like they know you. And while I'm not the best on camera, I'm not horrible. And so I think I can build some trust and people can feel comfortable with me. And so it's been a real win-win. We really, really felt like it's been positive.
Well, congratulations on that. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I think my favorite thing is and it has been from day one, and that's what got me in the business. I mean, when I was young, I always liked helping people. Even when I was in college, I went to college in Chicago at Loyola, and I liked helping people. I worked at soup kitchens, overnight, shelters. I just feel like it's a gift to be able to help people. And so, and then I'm good at communicating with people. And so I think what I enjoy the most is when people come in and they become a client, and then all of a sudden you start helping them and they start feeling at peace about what they have. The old financial peace of mind thing, that's kind of a worn, like a lot of people will use that term. And I think it's a good term, but my favorite term now is we just try to help people thrive in their financial life. And when they feel that way, they don't have anxiety around it. You and I both know, like, it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money or a little bit of money or a medium amount of money, it's stressful. And if we could take that stress away or a lot of it away and people just thank you, it's just a great feeling. And so that's what I like most about it.
Beautifully said. You mentioned earlier, becoming a business owner and having to learn about all the aspects of running a business. When you went on your own, your business is obviously a lot bigger now. How do you manage the growth and how do you deal with the stress?
So one of the big things I did a while ago is I hired a coach, and she just coaches RIAs, people who run RIA companies. And so I use her. I meet with her once a month, and she's been incredible to help me navigate, because I'm a great financial advisor. And then it depends on the day you ask me, but I think I'm a decent boss and leader, but I wasn't so good for a long time. And I have learned a lot about my leadership and my lack of leadership skills, but I've been working on them a lot. And so I would say the most challenging thing was just figuring out, what am I good at? And what should I focus on getting better at? What should I delegate? And I'm learning how to delegate a lot more and focus on the things that I'm really good at. I love mentoring some of the employees, especially the advisors. We have some advisors that are here, and my next phase is to do more and more of helping other advisors become really good advisors and helping them thrive and helping them become more successful. So I would say some of those things.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, we know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some with us. For our folks watching and listening who want to learn more, where is the best place to go learn more about you, about Edge, and about the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, our website has everything. It's edgefa.com. The name of the company is Edge Financial Advisors. So edgefa.com is our website. And then my email address is just ed@edgefa.com. The podcasts are on there. The website's on there. And so I think that'd be the easiest way to find me if need be. And
All right.
I love talking to people from the industry. Like, I just love this industry. Like, other firms, I mean, it's so rare that I don't really enjoy speaking with other people at conferences or people who do what we do. So if anybody ever wanted to pick my brain or talk to me, I'd be love to talk to them, help them out in any way I can, and learn from them too.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been Seth Greene for the RIA podcast with Meek from Edge Financial Advisors, edgefa.com. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Thanks, Seth. Thanks,
Seth.
everybody. Take care.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.